Guys, it's freezing outside. And guess what? I love it. I've been there, you know. I've lived in those hot tropical countries. I've lived in Thailand for 2 years, in the Philippines for over 6 months. I know what it is like. I know how it feels. And it seems like nobody is talking about this on the internet. You know, the internet is all about selling dreams, about this perfect sand beach in Indonesia, in the Philippines, about clear blue water, about moving to a hot place all year round. And I've been there too, you know. I've dreamed about this for a while. I'm gonna tell you my story very briefly. Then I'm gonna come up with what you should know before moving to a hot tropical country, what the reality is, okay? And at the end of this video, I'm gonna tell you the lesson I've learned after having lived in Siberia, -40 in the winter, up to -40, and Southeast Asia, up to +40 degrees Celsius, of course, when it gets very hot there, okay? So, we are in the late 2000s. I was living in France, working my sales representative job, and I remember in the winters I was miserable. Cold outside, gray outside. Yeah, it is typical, you know, European winters, just like now, okay? And now I enjoy it. And I remember back then with friends, we were always talking about going to warmer, hotter countries, to southern Spain, to you know, the Balkans, and always talking about, you know, it's the winter now, we are miserable. Why don't we live in Thailand, in Indonesia, in the Philippines, like all these guys, you know, we are talking about tropical countries back then. And in 2010, I booked a ticket to Thailand. I wanted to see it, you know. And yeah, I went to Thailand in 2010 for 1 month. Came back, I was a completely other man. I wanted to move to Thailand so bad. I quit my job straight away. You know it, you know. Warm weather, good food, the girls. Thailand when you are 25 years old. Especially back in 2010 where Thailand was still dirt cheap. I quit my job, moved back to Thailand and traveled for over 1.5 years through Asia, Russia, Eastern Europe and so on, okay? And I stayed in Thailand for almost a year then. Traveled a lot, but Thailand was my base back then in 2011, 2012-ish. Stayed there for a while. Then I came back to Thailand in 2016. I got a job there, got hired there, stayed there for 1 year. Then decided to quit, moved to New Zealand. Long story short. So I've lived there in Thailand. And yeah, in 2010, all I wanted to do was moving to a hot climate. I was dreaming about, you know, these perfect beaches, clear blue water, hot weather, you know, all year round, the nice girls, jet skiing, walking out at late at night, you know, in flip-flops, even in December and January, you know. And yeah, all I wanted was warm weather. I was, you know, pissed off about, you know, the miserable winters here in Europe. So I experienced it for 2.5 years, and now I'm a completely different person. I know what it is like to live in a tropical climate, in a warm climate, and in the beginning it's nice, you're there, oh yeah, fuck, you know, the winters in Europe, this is how we should live, this is life, the warm weather all year round, and so on, okay? And but let me tell you, it gets old quite quickly. First, be careful what you wish for. You may think warm weather, a hot climate is all you want, but in fact you don't know yourself yet. I thought all I wanted was a hot tropical climate. But I was wrong. Tropical climates are just not for me. Let me explain, okay? So be careful what you wish for. You may think, for example, if you're in the midst of moving to Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, Cambodia now, you may think it's what you want, but in fact, it's not what you need. Your body doesn't want it for you. Your body likes the cold, but you don't know it yet, okay? So be careful what you wish for. First, in these hot tropical countries, you live air-conned every time. I was living air-conned at the office because you can't work if you are, you can't work by 40 degrees Celsius. It's just impossible. So you have to be air-conned, especially when you are working on something you have to use your brain with, okay? Then you go into your car. I was driving a car in Thailand, which is air-conned, of course, okay? Then you go to a mall to buy groceries or clothing, which is air-conned again, okay? Then you go to a restaurant, which sometimes is air-conned inside. You don't do business meetings outside. You do it inside, where it's air-conned, okay? And then you go to another mall. So in Bangkok, you live air-conned most of the time because first, the heat in the streets are unbearable. If you walk in the streets for a while, you get completely wet and you can go to a business meeting, completely wet. Or even though you're not going to a business meeting, you are, wearing in a casual way, you get so, wet, it's disgusting, okay? With the pollution, it's even more disgusting. So you live in a cubicle, in an air-conned cubicle every time. And it's the same in Bali, Indonesia. If you, rent a place, or in the Philippines, if you rent a condo. Oh, I forgot about your condo, your place you live in, your apartment. It's aircon, of course, because at night there is no way you can sleep if you don't have the aircon. So you live aircon always. So you're living in a warm climate, but you are relying on aircon. There is something wrong already here. Another thing I've noticed, living aircon is not good for your health, okay? You get sick, you get a cough, and your body, at least my body, doesn't like it, in the long run. So that's the first thing you have to know. Other thing you have to take into consideration: a hot country can get only hotter. You have seen it, you can experience, you can feel it. At least I can see it here in Europe. I've seen it in Russia. I can see it here in I've seen it in Southeast Asia. It seems like our planet is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. It's just a fact. I'm not saying if it is. I'm not going to the climate debates and so on. I don't give a fuck about it. But as a matter of fact, I can feel our planet is getting only hotter year after year, okay? So if you're living in a hot climate, it will get only hotter. So if you can't stand the heat now, or if it is just bearable, it will probably get hotter later on. After 5-10 years, it will get 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees hotter in the future. So take that into consideration. It will get only hotter where you are, okay? Don't forget about mosquitoes as well. Hot climates are full of mosquitoes most of the time. So you can get diseases, the dengue and so on. But still, it's a pain to cope with all these, mosquitoes and mosquitoes, bacteria, and snakes most likely, and all this stuff. I don't like to have in my life. I like to walk around without all these mosquitoes, and just without having to worry about insects and so on. Okay. Other thing you have to take into consideration: the seasons is something you will miss after a while. At least I miss them. I like, don't get me wrong, I like the warm weather, the hot weather even sometimes, but 3 months per year it's enough for me. I don't want to be in the oven, all around. But for 3 months, yes, it's fun. You can go out swim, go to the beach. You're walking around, in t-shirts, shorts. It's nice. But after a while, it gets old, and I like the autumn. I like the spring. I like the winter. Now we are in the winter, and I love it. I love the snow. I love to go out in the snow, drink, mulled wine, go out skiing, drive my all-wheel drive car, on slippery roads. It's something I like. The seasons. Don't underestimate that. Okay. Other thing I've noticed, so that's not the case for everyone, but it's the case for me and from some other people I've met, especially people who come from colder climates such as Russia, Estonia, people from Scandinavia. They simply can't stand the heat. Their body is not made for the heat. Okay, so you lose your energy. When I am in a hot climate for a while, I tend to become sleepy. I lose my energy. I lose my my mood. I get depressed. Now we are in the winter and I have a lot of energy. I feel strong. My brain feels strong. And maybe it's not that correct, but my balls feel full and strong. Know what I'm saying, guys? Okay. So I like the cold, I enjoy cold weather. I enjoy, swim in a cold lake for sometimes, It's something I like. So not everybody is made for the cold weather. Some people love it and they are perfectly fine with it. Some other people don't like it. They can stand it. I can stand the heat for a long time. Even though I do like, don't get me wrong, I do like beautiful beaches, the Philippine beaches, perfect clear blue water, perfect, white sand beaches, but for a few months only, not all year round. Okay, so that's something you need to take into consideration as well. The warm weather is nice on vacation. To live in warm weather is something else. So that's why I and my wife as well. My wife is not somebody who likes the heat, for a long time either. We decided to look for a colder climate, a milder climate at least. I'd rather live in Siberia. Not at the moment, of course, with the war and the crazy Russian politics. I'd rather live in Siberia, where we get up to minus 40 degrees Celsius, than in Southeast Asia, where we get up to plus 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, I'd rather cope with the extreme cold, the wind, the ice, and the snow than with the heat, the oven. I can't stand it. Okay, so here's the lesson and what you have been waiting for in this video. The lesson I've learned about climates after having spent, a lot of time outside of my native country, over 30 years. I've lived in 7 countries permanently. The most important is not really the temperature. The most important is humidity. Okay? A hot weather with a low humidity is bearable. But a hot weather with a high humidity is hell on earth. It's an oven. I can't stand it. The cold weather is no big deal. Even minus 20, minus 25 is something I can live with, no problem. Okay, I can walk, by minus 25, minus 30 in Russia for hours and feel fine with it. Because in Siberia, not in Moscow, St. Petersburg, but in Siberia, for example, it's a dry cold. The humidity is very low, so it's bearable. But for instance, wet and cold, for example, the weather you get in St. Petersburg, in Estonia, in Latvia, in northern Poland, they feel very cold to me. They are not that cold. You get on average minus 5, minus 10 degrees, but because of the humidity, it feels even colder than minus 30 in Siberia. So humidity is in fact more important than temperature. Okay, if the humidity is high, it becomes unbearable. Doesn't matter if it is cold or hot. Humidity is very important. So don't look only at the temperature. Look at the humidity as well. It's way more important. Okay, that's why I like the cold, but a dry cold climate. That's the best for me, I think. Not year round. I like the summer, the spring, and the autumn as well. But I prefer colder climates as long as they are dry. Okay? If this was useful, share this video. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button. In the description below you will find some links. You can book a one-on-one call with me if you want to move abroad. If you want some life experience from somebody who is very international, who has lived in several countries. If you want to become location independent and build a online business, I can help you with this. I've been an online entrepreneur for almost 8 years now, since 2017. Okay, so yeah, consider booking a call if you want to have an online business. If you don't know where to get started and so on, it's in the links below. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. What climate do you prefer? A warm climate or a cold climate? A humid climate or a dry climate? Tell me in the comment below. Are you more that Thailand, Philippine guy, or that, you know, Siberia, Alaska, Canada climate guy? Leave your comment below. I wish you a good one, and we are out.